Welcome back. It's Tuesday, March 18th of 2025, and that means baseball was officially played this morning. It may have been 5 a.m., but your boys were up, and we were watching some games out in Tokyo. Corey, I don't know what to say, but don't let me forget our X handles. You can find us at OOM Baseball. Yeah. At Cory J. Satoon and at Clinton C. Patrick. This is Clinton. Got Corey here with me. You tired yet?
I'm about ready for bed. I mean, I'm an early to sleep type of person anyway. 9 o'clock rolls around, and that's time for me to be scrolling on my phone so I can be asleep soon. But not as tired as I thought I would be losing an hour. I got some extra work in too. It was nice. So, but no, it was good. I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, I'm glad to have the extra baseball early, but it'd be nice just to. It is also nice just to have like opening day and like from noon to midnight you have just games upon games upon games. So
yeah, and I felt like the games the rest of the day didn't matter. Like right. It was Dodgers are 1-0. You got Cubs 0-1.
Wait till like Thursday, and then the rest of that time between is going to be tough. But
it's going to be tough. So first impressions. I mean, let's just kind of pick apart a little bit. The first game. We got Yamamoto throwing for the Dodgers. We got Shota Imanaga throwing for the Cubs, and man, I thought Shota looked better. I thought he was very crisp. He only threw 69 pitches.
Yeah.
But didn't give up a hit. Did have 4 walks, I think. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, he looked dangerous out there on the mound.
Yeah, no, I really like Shota this year. I mean, it was weird. He didn't walk 4 batters in any starts last year, so that was kind of a weird blip for him in that sense. But, yeah, his stuff was nasty. I mean, like, for all the hype that Yamamoto and all the money that he got paid, and his splitter is outstanding. Shota is right there. I mean, they're different, but man, they're both just as deadly. So if Shota can only throw like 97 like Yamamoto, he probably would have gotten the more money. But it was, if you were a fan of pitching, it was a great game to watch. But they didn't really let either guy go too long, which I guess like makes sense. I mean, you still have some time before I guess you call it the domestic opening day hits next week. So let you guys go out there. Everybody's fresh. If you can get 5 good innings, 4 good innings, hand it over to your bullpen, see what can happen. And unfortunately for the Cubs, they handed it over to the bullpen and they effed around and found out.
Yeah, Ben Brown got hit very hard, starting off with Shohei, 107 off the bat. Which Shohei did have 100 and I'm sorry, it was 96. It was 96 off the bat of Shota in the 3rd inning, I believe. Mm-hmm. But when he came back around, 107 line drive to the right field corner, and then Edman, Teoscar, they just bang, 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 and then their defense was not helping them out either. Birdie, made some pretty, questionable throws.
Yeah.
Happ went after one that probably he shouldn't have gone after, and then Matt Shaw, kind of was very passive on a couple of ground balls that kind of led to some rush throws and that of that nature. So obviously it's still early. I think we talked earlier today. This game is so early on. We still got people ramping up. It's basically still spring training, but they do count towards the 162. But they still got some dust to shake off for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see if that's kind of like all right, a little easy start up for the season, or if this will kind of come back and be kind of tough for them to kind of power down, have to power right back up into the season starting again. Everybody's starting next week, but it was fun, man. Getting up, watching it, made me some coffee, had it going for about an hour before the kids and the wife got up, and then kind of, my 3-year-old daughter tends to rule the TV at that point, so I switched to my phone, and then, had it going, listening to it on the way, drop her off, came back to catch the bottom of the ninth, and but it was good. I'm looking at the Savant stuff. It's kind of funny, you have all these superstars out here, and the hardest hit ball was by John Birdie, who is not exactly known as the power hitter. Now, it was 111. That's within his kind of normal range of things, but it was just kind of a funny anecdote. But another thing I saw was somebody pointed out was the last time that the Dodgers played a game, they were also no hit through 4 innings, and then an error kind of busted things open. Sorry, Yankees fans. I know y'all are already down bad, but hey, history, if you don't, it's not the same team, so it doesn't matter. But, the Dodgers are still going to dodge, man. I don't know how else to say about that, but go ahead.
Some news that also came out today, obviously before the game. I think it was 30 minutes before the game. Freddie Freeman was not going to play today and tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they're sending Mookie home tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I think they said they're going to send him home early. So obviously this game not even played with arguably 2 of their best players.
Right.
And they still you could tell they didn't feel comfortable at the plate.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Shota, they all kind of were struggling a little bit, but they were doing their job. But be interesting to see exactly how long those 2 may be out.
Yeah, I'm hoping not too long. Kind of skipping around to looking at injuries. Freeman, it's reported he has some rib soreness, so hopefully that's nothing. I know as a Red Sox fan, Casas had ripped cartilage in his ribs last year, and it took him out. Yeah, that just sounds horrible. From a swing, I feel like that's something you get from a car wreck, but he swung so violently. And then for Mookie, I don't know if they reported or if they know exactly what it was, but he had an illness, and I've seen reports that he's down 10 to 15 pounds, which is just like, I've been trying to lose weight, and that takes me like 6 months to lose 10 or 15 pounds. So there's no way he could have played. I mean, he's got to be so weak, and almost dehydrated, I guess, at that point. That's just such an immense amount of weight to lose. So hopefully that's not something that lingers for him. Maybe he, like you said, they bring him back early, get him back home side, and just let him heal up, rest up, get ready for the season. So, but we get to redo it tomorrow, man. I'm going to be quite tired after all that, but my heart will be overflowing. I'll be full over here. So,
well, as a anti-Dodger over here, I need an outside opinion. So, is the Tokyo series just a recruitment event for LA?
Well, I don't know, because I feel like you could easily argue both ways. Because yes, I mean they have signed a lot of talent from over there, but also yes, they're going to sign a lot of talent no matter what. So I could see it both ways, and LA is a quicker, an easier flight, maybe the quickest flight to get to Tokyo. So I can see where that's incentivized to go there. But then you also have Chicago. So it's like, well, if Chicago can do it, any team can. So, yeah, I don't know if this is just it's hard to know unless you had something direct that said, oh, well, actually, the Dodgers got to sign this as soon as Shohei, started doing it. And then you can say, oh, okay, well, now they're spinning it and they're, able to make this into a thing. And I mean, it does grow the game. So just from a general standpoint, that's great. But yeah, I don't really have a straight answer for you. I mean, I know what you're going to say, but go for it.
Even trying to take my homer hat off here, it is good for MLB. Mm-hmm. We obviously got the WBC coming up next year. The commissioner talked about that a little bit on the broadcast, and they're going to have one of the early rounds in the Tokyo Dome. But you can obviously see the product that the Tokyo team put against the Dodgers a couple days ago.
Oh yeah.
Very talented. So they're obviously growing the brand over there, and they're driving them. They're using the NPL as just as a farm. But as of the past couple of years, that farm has been going straight to LA, at least when it comes to top talent.
Yeah,
the
for
top
free
talent
agents.
is going to LA.
Yeah, Shohei being different because he was a free agent already. But yeah, the last two, Yamamoto and Sasaki have definitely gone over there. And like I said, there's a lot of aspects because the Dodgers are, look, if you want to go grow your name and grow your personal brand, it's hard to beat LA, hard to beat a team that's going to be going for it. But
well, and just like we grew up, we're not fans of either team, but we grew up with WGM watching the Cubs and TBS watching the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
They have a TV deal in Tokyo, and the only MLB team they're seeing, if they're not paying for MLB TV, is they're seeing the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and it also kind of, even outside of that, it does get to the point where it's like, if you have enough talent, like big name talent from a certain country on a team, does that somehow become like an automatic go-to, and is that kind of a weird set? And again, that's not necessarily even anything like collusion or anything. It's just like, well, the Dodgers have all of the best, Japanese players, so that's going to be first go for everybody. We say that, of course, the Cubs have Shota, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, I could see where you could get to that, and especially with Japanese players, just because there's not a whole bunch of them, like as far as like if you think about like Venezuelans or Dominican Republic, like there's just so much talent in the MLB from those countries that it's a little less, I guess it's almost impossible to like group them all together in that way. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's kind of an interesting situation.
It is.
Should be monitored.
I had to pose a little question there. Obviously, it is growing the brand of MLB. It is growing it over there in Tokyo, and the amount of talent coming out of there is great. It is competitive. I think I read some projections for in 10 years. It's estimated that 65% of the talent on 40-man rosters will be international signings.
Awesome.
And so that's going to be a huge growth. Obviously they're lumping in the Japan League, the Korean League. We're getting a couple of people from there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, Venezuela, they continue to pump out just amazing talent.
Yeah.
That's just very hard to compete with. And of course I was
just saying a different thing too is a lot of times just the way each country's league's set up. A lot of times if you're from Dominican Republic or that LIDOM kind of area, they sign early. A lot of times these guys are signing at 16 years old, or they have a handshake deal. Whereas with Tokyo, where I think they do have the opportunity to not go to the MPL or the MPP or whatever it is at first, I think it is a huge incentive to do it that way. So that is just kind of a different. A lot of times when they're coming from Japan, they're already been playing in a high, intensity league, and they're generally not quite this young when they come over too. So yeah, it's just a lot of different moving parts to it as well. So
well, and I also think, and as somebody that has a 10-year-old playing baseball, we do not travel. We're not a travel team, but we are burning out a lot of kids.
Yeah,
in the United States, by the time they get to 16, 17, they're playing 30, 40 tournaments a year for 10 years. Man, they're done.
Yeah.
They're burnt out. They don't want to play 162.
No.
So, could be a, towards the problem. But you know what? We'll leave that to the dads that podcast about travel baseball. We're talking about MLB baseball.
And
so
we'll fight them too, actually. So I'm throwing my figurative hat into the thing. As long as you guys on those podcasts aren't too big, let like 5'10" and like 110 pounds or something, I'm down for a little old school fighting. Anyway, moving on from the Dodgers and the Cubs. Not a whole lot of other news to talk about. I saw where Kimbrel is going back to the Braves on what I thought it said it was a minor league deal, but if he makes the major league roster, it's like $2 million. So good for him. I hope it's like a fun homecoming, just enjoyable thing. He's not going to be the closer out there. He might not even be in anything high leverage, but just thought that was kind of a fun thing to see. I love it when when vets get to kind of go back to their team that they came up with, and just see how that works. Staying with the Braves, Spencer Strider is back, and he dominated the Red Sox B team, which
I mean, it's the B team, but he the card up there.
He looked good. Lord,
he looked good.
If there was any is his fastball still elite? Yes, yeah. And he was locating it. It looked like, hey, I don't think this dude had surgery, man. I feel like he is the same exact person. It was fun. Like I said, it's kind of like even in the when the regular season kicks off, if we're going against an ace and they just absolutely carve my team up, you know what? I'm infatuated that the other team's pitcher is that good. So it did not bother me to see him just go out there and shove it, especially because you can root for him because he's coming back from that injury. So that was really fun to get to watch and enjoy. Couple other injury notes, not a whole lot left. Oh, I forgot the other signing that happened was Patrick Corbin is signing with our Texas Rangers, and it's been
the Texas Rangers, the new Yankees. They just getting all the old Diamondbacks.
Well, I mean, if they want to be worse, they would sign Patrick Corbin. I looked it up. He has I'll pull it up. 5.5 ERA over the last 3 years. So, no, I think the Rangers, they just had some unfortunate injuries kind of at the last minute of spring training. So they kind of just needed some extra depth there because all of a sudden they are having to put Leiter and Kumar in their rotation, and they're still young and a little bit crazy out there on the mound, so a little bit wild, I should say. But anyway, back to injury news. Unfortunately, Max Scherzer, who has looked amazing in spring training, at least from the little bit that I've seen, and if you look at his stat lines, everything looks good, but he's having some lingering thumb issues, which is also something that I think pulled up or that showed up last year that he struggled with as well. So that's always unfortunate when you have an injury that a full off season, mostly healthy off season couldn't remedy. So I'm hoping for the best there. Hopefully they can figure out, or he can maybe play through it. But I think even in his quote, he said, the thing about pitching is if you can't, you have to have your thumb to do anything. So it's it's not like you can just, not that there's a lot of injuries. I feel like as a pitcher, you can kind of just power through. But if your hands aren't working very well, what are you going to do? You can't get on top of anything. You can't grip it. So that's unfortunate. And then also, I hate to even say this, but Royce Lewis strained his hamstring. I was watching that game because I think it was against the Red Sox, and it was just poor guy.
He's made of the thinnest rubber bands out there.
I mean, it's just I don't know. I don't necessarily buy into injury proneness for the most part. But unless, and it's like this where it's hey, this guy's, legs are always giving out on him, or he's always, if it's in the same spot, the same muscle group, then it's kind of okay, there's something there that he's just, I don't know if he just runs weird or it's just compensating from previous injuries. But it just wasn't a good thing to see. I don't remember seeing yet the severity of it, hoping it wasn't too bad. But I mean, he pulled up pretty quickly and walked straight to the dugout. So it didn't look like it was just anything too light on that instance. But tough to see, man. Tough to see. All right, man. Again, that's most of the injuries. Thankfully, it wasn't a big week of just brutal injuries coming through. A little bit of good, bad, funny. Really not a lot of funny and not a lot of good, but things that I would put in the bad category. And I was kind of is it bad? Is it good for Kobe Mayo? It's bad he got sent down, but I agreed with his comments because he basically just said, I went, I've done everything I needed to do at AAA. You send me back to AAA. If I do good, hey, okay, I'm supposed to do good there. If I do bad, oh, well, see, that's why we sent you down, because you needed to do things to work on. And it's he has done just about all he can do at AAA.
But he did have a good attitude about it. But I also think they're worried about constant reps for him. I think
I get it. From a team,
think that's one of the big things.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, oh, they should trade him for pitching because the Orioles need pitching, kind of a situation, which they did last year as well. But it's like, yeah, it's tough, if you're kind of just a good player, but you're just kind of sitting back on a depth chart because there's just so many people there in front of you.
Yeah.
So, the other bad / ugly, I'm going to call this one ugly, Tampa Bay Rays aren't pursuing a new stadium. I already had like zero respect for their owner. I have negative respect. I don't even know if that's a thing, but it's like for the longest time they were like, oh, trying to get a new location, trying to get a new stadium.
Yeah.
They finally get something going after years and years and years and proposal after proposal, and it's just like,
They looked at Howie Mandel and said, no deal.
No deal, man. They opened that case up and it said $6 million to repair, the trop, and they said, we'll take it. So I don't know, man. It's just sell the team, dude. Just give it to somebody who likes it.
And maybe that's, because there is pressure for him to sell.
Yeah.
And maybe that's one of the things is like, well, man, if you're going to force me to sell, why would I invest all this money to build a new stadium?
Right. And as a potential buyer, if they have something quicker that is settled, which repairing the trop would be the fastest way to
and it's less money on the books.
Right. So that would make it a more enticing sale. But
yeah.
What do you got? You got anything good or bad this week?
I don't. It depends on where you are in the sports card world. If there's a lot of stuff floating around, then I knew it was mentioned about a week ago, but it really didn't hit headlines until yesterday when Shohei's jersey for today was seen, and there was the logo, the MLB logo on the back of his jersey was not the normal logo. And if people noticed, it was black and gold. He is going to be one of 6 players. So the 2 MVPs, the 2 Cy Youngs, and the 2 Rookie of the Years for each league will be wearing these patches on the back of their jerseys throughout the season. Mm-hmm. So you've got Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Scooble, Sale, Luis Hill, and Skeensy will be wearing these patches, and Fanatics has struck a deal to carve those out throughout the year and stick them in cards with autographs and make them one of ones. So is it a way for Fanatics to make more money? Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
Is it a pretty cool product? Abso-freaking-lutely. I like it. It's something new. It's something else to drive towards. I would love to be like, man, I would love to have a gold MLB logo patch of Corbin Carroll with an autograph on it from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's going to be something cool. I think it's going to drive some prices up. We see what the rookie debut patches were going for Skeens and some of the other players. Last I checked, the Skeens was at $550,000.
Yeah, just a casual.
Yeah.
Do you think it's something that it's going to be like they're going to place this in like a normal series, or is this going to be one of their like 50-50 Shohei things where it's like you're going to have to pay big money at a chance to get this?
The way that they pitched it is because they're going to be wearing it throughout the season. Mm-hmm. So
it'd be a lot of them.
They haven't said how many, but if you may think 20 to 30 patches per, mm-hmm. they're going to be putting them in every product from top to bottom.
I'm down with that.
Which I like. That means you can go buy a booster or a blaster Series mm-hmm. 1 from Target for $25 and you may hit a patch. None of the Victor Wembanyama Mercury boxes that were going for $8,000. That's not what you want,
No, that's just buying it outright at some point. It
is.
You don't know what you're getting, but you're basically you're buying this chance to get something really great.
Yeah.
So
I brought it up to my wife this past weekend. Was looking at some cards, and there was a game used 1-of-1 patch for Corbin Carroll, and it was an R from one of his jerseys that he wore. But they wanted $500 for the card, and it's just the R with no autograph. I'm like, I could get a signed autograph full jersey for like $750. Like, why would I spend that on one card?
Yeah.
You know, and so there's you got to be smart. It's got to be the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is going to be something. I think it would be nice for the kids. You know, obviously Skeens was pulled by an 11-year-old.
Oh yeah,
and so it could be bad, but I think it's going to be more good.
I think my only pause is, and I mean maybe I'm off this, and you would know more. It's like every year it feels like there's just a few more one-on-ones that you can find, and it's like it's also like the hobby is growing right now, so it's not like it's too much, diluting it a little bit. But at some point, it's like 101. Oh yeah, and then it's like, oh well, which of the 50 101s from this year did you get for Shohei Ohtani?
And that's
you got to be careful.
Well, and that's where the patch comes in, where they can make multiple one-of-ones because. Right. And what they typically do is like if there's game used in there and it's just one color, that may be like the base card. Mm-hmm. And then if it's got 2 colors in there, it may be out of 50. Right. And if you
get that logo already,
but if you get the logo,
yeah.
If you get, especially if the logo man, like if it's the MLB logo, like from the pants or from the jersey, like typically those are one-of-ones, but it's a one-of-one from that particular jersey.
Yeah.
And so now it still carries a lot of weight because it is a one-of-one.
Right.
This will make a whole lot more one-of-ones, but I just think it is pretty cool that the award winners they're getting a little something extra,
Yeah.
And you're starting to see more and more players collect.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's been kind of cool to see players buying their own debut patches and all kinds of stuff.
I mean, I've even seen Jordan Lawler we've got a couple of his really nice auto cards, and he's been pretty active on X. Like, hey, if you've got some nice cards of mine, I'm open. Like, let's make a trade. And me and my son been thinking about it. I was like, man, we got that 1 out of 25. We might see what we can get,
Yeah.
Hey, send us a jersey, send us a bat,
Does he have that one? Yeah, man. What's it got,
That's right.
Absolutely.
So anyway, that's one of mine there.
Let's take a trip to Arizona. Let's go.
I do. So
man.
The next thing on the list I did see, and I'm not gonna lie, I laughed out loud pretty hard.
It's I don't take it overly serious, all things considered.
I don't either, but like you've seen this happen with a couple of people. I think David Peralta was one of them. He started out. Of course, he went reversed of what Joey Gallo is proposing. And if you have not seen, Joey Gallo made social media posts saying, hey, it's been fun. To clarify, I will be pitching with a full on, pitcher stance in the social media post. I find it a little funny, but if you can throw strikes and get some movement on your fastball, why not?
I mean, yeah.
But then again, Trevor Bauer is still out there too.
Okay, well, that's a can of worms that it's probably best we just don't even touch. But cue all the Yankees fans. Why can't we just get him? But anyway, I was trying to pull up Joey Gallo's career earnings, but yeah, he's a guy who's always had a good arm. I'm looking at his Savant page, and even though he didn't have a lot of throws this year, he only averaged 74 miles per hour. But this is a guy in 2020, he averaged 95% or 95 miles per hour on his throws. Even last year, his max throw was 98 miles per hour. And we're not talking like having the advantage of the rubber and, the height of the mound as well. Now, there's a increasingly more and more every year number of pitchers who can throw 100 and not actually be in the big leagues, because it does take more than that. I remember I don't know, this guy always sticks out in my mind, but I think it was for the Tigers, Joel Zumaya, I think that's how you say his name. I remember that being like the first guy, and he would go out there and he was just pumping 100, and he wasn't like he was a solid reliever for sure, but it was just like, I can remember that so vividly. That was like, oh my God, 100 miles. Like, that's a real thing now. Like, I didn't even think that was possible. So, anyway, I digress because I'm going tangentially over here. But I don't know. It's cool. He's 31. I mean, why not? It could happen. I mean, like you said.
Jansen was a catcher.
Yeah, Kenley Jansen was a catcher. So
Paul
I mean,
Skeens was a catcher at Air Force.
that's true. He did. So he's yeah. Look, the dude's earned almost $45 million. So I think he's just doing this as maybe you call it a passion project type of thing.
Yeah,
But
I mean, as the little kid from Angels in the Outfield says, it could happen.
it could happen, man.
It could
I'm rooting
happen.
for it. Like, look, let's put it in there. Let's just go for it. But yeah, I'm trying to remember. There was an outfielder, I think, for the Guardians that had recently switched to pitching, and I think he could ramp it up there close to triple digits, but not overly accurate or anything either. So I mean, there's just a lot of things at play here, but just for like the enjoyment of like I'm rooting for something because I got to root for just the difference and the oddities. Let's go. Also, I'm seeing that he has not hit over $1.99 since. I mean, he hit 253 in 2019, and it has not gotten close to that since then. So his bat has really fallen off. But you know what? It fell off when he played for the Yankees, and that's all I could have ever asked for him. Is just for him to suck for the Yankees. So hey, I'm already a big fan of his. So let's go for it. But yeah, that's the good, the bad, the ugly, the funny, whatever you want to call it. I put that in the good. I guess it's a little bit of funny just because it's just a little bit of an oddball thing. But that's most of the news. I think next week we're going to pick up with our AL lineups, and so we'll be looking at that. Possibly, let's see. So we won't be doing. Yeah, so we'll have one more podcast before opening day, the big opening day.
A week from Thursday.
Yep, and then I think we're going to try to do, I don't know if we'll do a special podcast that Thursday, but we're going to try to do some audio and video. Hello. So you unfortunately get to see what we look like. Yeah, I know, man. I just got my hair cut, but it might be growing out by then, so we'll have to see. But that's all I got, man. Anything else stick out to you this week in the old baseball sphere?
No, it was just good to have. It was good to have real baseball today. It just means more.
It does. It means something. Yeah. It was cool, man. Like I said, just got actual stats and actual things to care about. It's nice, you know. I mean, I guess I care about my family and stuff, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah,
baseball.
When it comes to baseball, it's
it's always better.
You know, it definitely took the sting of the loss from the 10-year-old last night. It was a rough scrimmage last night with the 10-year-olds.
Well, you know. He's picking up golf. Maybe that he's shifting. He's shifting careers over there. Give him a chance.
I actually can't hate on him too much. He actually did pretty good. He decided he wanted to play first, and he had a couple of digs out there at first. I can't hate on the coach's son. He actually did pretty good.
I can almost guarantee he's better than me. I've always been the worst at digging pitches, like digging throws out of the dirt. I try to keep my eye on the ball, and I try to move up with it, read the bounce, and I'm horrible. It's a skill that I can't ever get. So
look, I was challenging him at practice the other day, and hit a ground ball, and I ran.
Hello.
And
your hamstrings okay?
Hamstrings are okay.
Okay, that's good.
But the throw pulled him up the line, and he caught it, and we collided at the same time. And I'm telling you, I took a knee to his face. I tumbled on top of him and everything, and he pops up and shows the glove and goes, "You're out." So I mean, just full on, and I mean he's not the biggest kid out there, and so he's doing good, But
that's good. He's got the love for it is all. So that's all that matters.
He does. But the golf and baseball swings are not mixing very well.
Yeah, I found that out the hard way. I went to Top Golf a few months ago, and I'm like,
they're completely different swings, man.
Man, and I've never I just never golfed, and it was the most unhinged, out of body, I think I'm semi-athletic for my age. I've never felt more just out of body, just I pull my hands back and I'm pausing. I'm like, am I supposed to pause? Now I'm way overthinking it, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands and my feet. So yeah. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that on a baseball podcast.
No,
but
we'll wrap it up here.
We're gonna roll it back tomorrow. We got Sasaki versus Justin Steele. So I think it's another good matchup, man. The Cubs are a sneaky good team. So even if they don't win out, but They're
And
good.
I'd love to see Still bounce back. Come out tomorrow. He had a down year last year from his rookie campaign. Just love to see him
be
bounce
healthy
back tomorrow.
too.
Yep.
All righty, brother. Well, it has been another good one. This episode 15. I don't know if that's like some kind of monumental mark, but it's pretty nice seeing that number just keep going as we keep pushing, and just hopefully be able to just share our passion and our love for the game. So it's been a pleasure.
Catch y'all next time.
Later.